All right, welcome to another coffee talk. This is Lee Bird with Btech, and today I'm joined by Todd Barrack. He is a solutions architect with 1111 Systems, and as many of you know, we've partnered with 1111 Systems to help credit unions with their infrastructure. One of the challenges credit unions are faced with is all the server upgrades, and we kind of keep hearing this talk about cloud. What does cloud mean? And it's sort of been a challenge for the credit union world. But I wanted to do this talk today with Todd because he has experience working with credit unions in his previous roles. And so sort of understand some of the important things that credit unions would look for with their infrastructure. So Todd, thanks a lot for joining me today. This is going to be fun. So
thanks for having me, Lee. I appreciate it.
Yep. So Todd, what are a couple of things that you've seen some of the value add with 1111 that credit unions can get out of using your services for their infrastructure hosting?
Sure. So we do business with several credit unions, and there's a few things that come to mind. One of those is the shift from a CapEx model to an OpEx model. I know that credit unions have to tightly control their expenditures, so it's a lot more predictable billing. Especially as opposed to like the public cloud and hyperscaler environments. And the other piece of that is that we allow specialized networking equipment to be deployed directly into our facilities. And I know credit unions have quite a bit of specialized networking equipment, and it's not always possible to get those into a public cloud setting.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there because that's kind of that's one of the big differentiators. Is we love the fact that a credit union can leverage 1111 to host we think of it like their VMs, right? So their servers. And a lot of credit unions have come to Btech and said, well, we want to use Azure or AWS, but ultimately you still end up with all of this equipment in your data center. So routers to the core, Fedline routers, some of that stuff, you can't, Microsoft, Amazon, they don't host those types of, that type
Correct.
of, so that's what you're referring to. So 1111 Systems will host some of that equipment for a credit union, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Very cool.
we host up to, it depends on the size of it, but we absolutely have options to host that equipment or for colo space and cross connect. So it's all possible.
Very cool. Okay, so the next thing that's pretty cool about 1111 Systems is a credit union takes their existing VMs. There are really very advanced tools that do that migration into the 1111 environment. So those VMs go across. And then can you describe sort of the advantages from a security standpoint? Because I know that's a challenge as well, is keeping all those systems updated. The credit union still has some responsibility. They own the servers that are running on your platform, but where is that separation and kind of what is the advantage from a security standpoint with what you're able to do?
Sure. Well, right off the bat, we have an in-house tool called Catalyst, which is our cloud assessment platform. So not only will that collect all the data real quick for discovery, but we'll collect some security information as well. And then during the migration process, we can help to right-size the environment. Now, once all of the environment has been migrated, our infrastructure is all already compliant. We hold over 20 certifications, including PCI, and SOC 2 and SOC 3. So while the application and operating systems still need to be compliant, it takes all the worry out of the infrastructure for the credit union because it's already there.
Awesome. Okay, so we've talked about the value as it relates to the OpEx versus CapEx, so the expenditure, because if you're buying new hardware every 4 or 5 years, I mean, that's tons of money there. We've talked about 1111 Systems having the ability to co-locate or rack space some of the equipment or infrastructure, right? So routers, that sort of thing. And then the security advantages because you are responsible for that layer that the VMs are sitting on, correct? Did I get that right technically?
Correct. And in the console, you can see in the dashboard the reputation, if there's been malware, if there's been vulnerabilities. You can see that over time, and that's all from some leading security vendors that are kind of put together for a defense in depth strategy. So yes, we take care of all the security for our environment. we also can provide security features for the operating system and application layer as a service.
Awesome. All right, Todd. Well, thank you so much for your time today. This has been great. And I think, for credit unions that are coming up on they're looking at the expenses about replacing hardware, this is definitely a conversation that they should look at having. And even from a DR standpoint, we have a lot of credit union clients in like the Southeast that are sort of always worried about hurricanes. And, you have locations across the United States, so we could put all of your data center somewhere else and kind of help you out there as well. So Todd, it's really nice to meet you. I appreciate your time this afternoon and doing our little coffee talk. So thank you again for your time and your expertise. And we, reach out to us. We'd love to have this conversation with any credit unions that might be looking at moving their systems out of their data center. Anything else,
Great.
Todd? Did I get it right?
Thanks again for having me, Lee.
Thanks, Todd.